Have you ever thought of carrot pancakes? Today we're gonna be testing carrots in different recipes and honestly just seeing how they turn out. Okay, so these were my pretty carrots. These are the ones that I wanted to use for my intro, and I'm gonna make these like in the air fryer. However, for this video, I'm just gonna use bag carrots. I just have to have shredded carrots for a lot of these recipes. So I grabbed a big 5-pound bag of carrots. So the first two recipes that we're going to be doing are carrot pancakes and then a carrot mug cake. So it's just like a 1-minute mug cake in the microwave. But first we're gonna make the carrot cake pancakes. So first I need to grate 6 big or 8 smallish carrots. Okay, so I'm actually going to do 8 large carrots. For the mug cake, I need 2 tablespoons of carrots grated. So one thing I like about this grater is it does have 2 different options. It does have the small grater on it along with a larger one if you're doing cheese, but it's just quite convenient. My bowl is actually a little bit big up under it. Let me get a smaller bowl. Okay, this one will fit up under there. But you can see it's just so much easier. I mean, look at how fast that is. Just look how nice that makes that. So easy, so convenient. Okay, so the mug cake calls for 2 tablespoons. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that kind of put to the side because the pancakes, you need 2 cups. All right, there's my 2 tablespoons. I'm going to sit this to the side for when we do our mug cake. And then let me just see how much I have. I don't think I'm gonna have to use all those carrots. Okay, there's 1 cup packed down. Put that in a bowl. I may have eyeballed this perfectly. Perfect. I think I'm just gonna use the little bit that's left in here. 2 cups. All right, so the next step is actually to soften the carrots, and it said to put them in a microwave safe bowl, and I'm just gonna be honest, I'm not sure if this bowl is, so I'm gonna transfer them to a plate. I think you should throw this in the dishwasher, and then put a moist paper towel over them and put them in the microwave for 2 minutes. So let's go soften some carrots. Okay, so while we wait for the carrots to cool, I'm gonna do the baking powder, baking soda, ginger, cinnamon, and salt. Okay, it calls for 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, and 1 full teaspoon of cinnamon. And it does call for nutmeg, but I am choosing not to do nutmeg just because it's March. And I didn't want it to be super fall. So for this, I'm just going to add 1 egg. And I said for this, but the wet ingredients. So in a separate bowl, you're doing the wet ingredients. 1 cup of milk. Now it calls for buttermilk, and you can make buttermilk with whole milk by adding some lemon juice. And it said like 5 minutes, but honestly, the note said that I could use like almond milk, so I don't know why I couldn't use whole milk. And that's what I have. I wasn't gonna go buy buttermilk. And then it says 2 tablespoons of packed coconut sugar or brown sugar. I'm going to use coconut sugar because I actually have it. And how many recipes actually call for coconut sugar? Like hardly any. And I'm gonna do just a little bit more since I didn't pack it. And then finally 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm just going to whisk that up. Oh no. Oh no. I've got to start wearing an apron. Pulling out my Valentine's Day one because that's the one I have right here. Now if it splatters, I'm okay. And honestly, I'm representing all the holidays. I'm filming this on St. Patty's Day for Easter with carrots in my Valentine's Day apron. It's fun that way. Liquids ready. Let's go mill the berries. Okay, so the next part is actually the wheat. And I'm gonna use soft white wheat for this. It says to use whole wheat or all-purpose flour or pastry wheat, but it calls for 125 grams. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure my berries. Now we're going to go freshly mill this. Okay, here are the dry ingredients, and I'm just gonna stir this up a little bit before I put the liquids in here. just get this good and mixed. And I've said this before, I don't like using metal on my bowls, especially like my mason cash bowls, because I feel like it scratches up the bottom. So I use wood or silicone. It's just a preference. But I hate getting those scratch marks on your bowls. Okay, I think my carrots are pretty cool now, so I'm gonna add them to my liquids. So now we are going to pour in the liquid ingredients all into the dry ingredients. Let's get all that good nutrients. And if you know anything about me, you know I love hiding a vegetable in something like sweet and cakey. I'm just a big fan of it. That's why I like my black bean brownies and things like that. It's just a great way to hide some nutrients in there. Let's mix this up. I'm gonna set this to the side for 5 minutes and let the griddle go ahead and heat up. So we'll be ready to go whenever this is finished. So while the griddle heats up and the batter rests, I'm going to whip up the cream cheese frosting that goes on top. I'll link the exact recipe below, but honestly, I just kind of eyeballed it. So I did cream cheese, a little bit of maple syrup, vanilla, and cinnamon, all mixed together. It turned out so good, and I actually ended up using it on several of my carrot recipes throughout the video. So it's been 5 minutes, so I'm just going to scoop this on here. And I do think you could use raisins in here or any type of like pecan or walnut. It's a lot of carrots. I actually didn't expect it to be so carrot forward, even though it is carrot pancakes. I mean, I guess what do you expect with carrot pancakes? I did want to show you, it does kind of look like some of the places are cooking through more than others. I don't know if it's just because I did it unevenly, but I did kind of want to note that. See, like right there, it's like way more cooked than right there. So let's flip these. They do smell really good. Okay. Well, these are looking nice. Okay, I'm gonna put these on a cooling rack. And I'm actually going to be eating this for dinner, so I'm going to be eating here very shortly. All right, since I told you I was filming this on St. Patty's Day, I am going to use a green plate. I'm gonna do a little bit of the cream cheese frosting on top, a couple walnuts. This is looking so good. Some maple syrup. Okay, let's taste this. Pretty soft when cutting into it. Let's get a little bit of the, actually, let's taste just the pancake first. They're actually pretty good. They don't have that bread quality to them. You can tell there's something in it. Like you can tell that the carrots are in there. It's just a little bit more, like not doughy. Like maybe these could have even cooked maybe a minute more. You can definitely taste the cinnamon. You can't really, you can taste the carrot, but not like I thought I was going to be able to. It's more of an aftertaste of carrot than it is carrot. It's kind of like eating a carrot cake. Like, you know carrot's there, but it's not so forward that you're like, oh, I'm literally eating a carrot right now. The cream cheese topping, that's legit. That definitely takes it over. The next carrot recipe we're trying is a carrot mug cake, and I was really curious to see if it actually lives up to the whole quick and easy promise of a mug cake. Overall, it was pretty simple, but I will say it used more ingredients, like measuring spoons, than I kind of expected. The biggest thing, the carrots. I had already pre-shredded about 2 tablespoons, which made it easy, but if I hadn't, I'm not sure that I would have felt that this mug cake was quite as convenient. You can buy pre-shredded carrots, and if that is something that you make often, that might be the way to go. Otherwise, shredding, 2 tablespoons of carrots just for 1 mug cake feels like a little bit of a commitment. It also took about 1.5 minutes to cook, not a huge deal, but just wanted to note that it didn't fully cook in the 1 minute mark. Now for the important part, the taste. It was delicious. My sister and I both loved it. I actually added a little bit of the cream cheese topping from the pancakes, and it turned out to be a perfect cozy nighttime dessert. Now that being said, it wasn't quite as good as the recipe that's coming up in this video, but if you are gonna make this regularly, I actually would pre-mix a few jars with the dry ingredients ahead of time, and that way it's already ready to do. Then all you have to do is add the wet ingredients, toss in your shredded carrots, and mix it up and pop it in the microwave. I think that would make it a lot more convenient so that you're not having to pull out all those spices and each time you wanted to make a mug cake.
All right, recipe number 3, and make sure you stick around because there are 4 total, and the last one is easily my favorite. For this one, we're making carrot date energy balls. These are packed with shredded carrots, pecans, walnuts, medjool dates. Just make sure your dates are pitted. If they're not, all you have to do is split them open and pull the pit out. It is a little bit sticky, but it's super easy. But from there, you will want to add dates, nuts, spices all into the food processor and pulse until the mixture is fine and crumbly, but still sticky enough to hold together. That's the magic of dates. They add sweetness and kind of act as a natural binder for your nuts. In a separate bowl, you'll mix together the oats, chia seeds, and carrots along with that date mixture that you blended. And this is one of the things I definitely would do differently next time. I wish I had tossed the carrots into the food processor also. Even though they were shredded, they were still just like a little bit chunky. I think that if they had been a finer texture, it would have made a bigger difference, in the actual energy ball. But once everything is combined, you're going to add a little bit of water if needed. I did end up adding about 2 tablespoons just to help it all come together. Then you're going to roll the mixture into bite-sized balls. After that, you place them on a baking sheet, pop them in the freezer for about 30 minutes. I did do that, but honestly, they tasted a little bit too icy for me. I actually preferred them straight into the fridge. They were softer, chewier, and just overall better in my opinion. So while the carrot date energy balls were chilling, it was time to start the carrot bread, and I actually used my bread machine to do all the mixing. One thing that immediately surprised me was how much oil this recipe called for. I think sometimes we assume that just because something is a healthy ingredient like carrots, it's automatically going to be a healthy recipe overall. But this is definitely more on the rich, decadent treat side. Between the oil, the milk, the eggs, and the full cup of sugar, it definitely leans more into like cake than bread in my opinion. And I think it's basically carrot cake, in disguise. For the spices, the recipe called for pumpkin pie spice, but I decided to skip that because I wanted something a little bit fresher. So instead, I actually added lemon juice and lemon zest. I do wish that I had added a bit more lemon juice though. My sister could taste it, but I couldn't really pick it up, and you'll see that when you see our full taste test at the end of the video. Now, I did stick with the all-purpose flour since that's what the recipe called for, but I do think freshly milled flour would have been amazing here. I would have used soft white wheat, and honestly, I probably would have liked it better. I also added some walnuts just for a little crunch. Then I tossed everything in the bread machine, and quick question, can you spot what I forgot? It's a big deal.
Guys, I completely left out the carrots. The whole point of this entire thing is to make carrot recipes, and I left out the carrots. Luckily, I caught it only 2 minutes in, so I'm gonna go ahead and dump these and let it continue mixing.
Yep, I forgot the main ingredient, 2 cups of carrots. How? I truly have no idea, but don't worry, I did get them in there. And once that was fixed, I crumbled up some parchment paper in a lined bread pan. A little bit of a tip, I like to use a second bread pan to gently press the parchment paper down. I feel like it gives the parchment paper a much nicer, even shape. Then once everything was fully mixed, I poured the batter into the pan, popped it in the preheated oven to bake for about 65 minutes.
Okay, the carrot bread and the carrot energy balls are finished, and my sister Sarah is here to taste it with us because I can tend to have a little bit of a skew when it comes to healthy food. I can sometimes think it tastes like wonderful, and other people will say, no, it does not. So I brought her in to taste the stuff as well. So let's start with energy balls.
Okay.
Now, we both have tasted it warm, like freshly mixed.
One?
Okay. She didn't love it.
I did not know. Yeah, I've had it warm. And I did not like
warm, just like freshly mixed, not put in the fridge or freezer. Is it better cold?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is better cold? I definitely think next time I won't use like shredded. I will definitely like blend the carrots with the dates and everything. Like the shredded carrots is kind of off-putting. It's like I'm gonna eat them. I don't know that I'll go out of my way to make them again. The next thing is the carrot bread.
Well, this should be fun.
I mean, that's good. I don't taste the lemon.
The cake itself isn't bad. I do think it'd be better with pumpkin pie spice. I think if you follow the ingredients, it would have tasted really good.
I just felt like that would be so
Because like it's,
and
I taste the acidity, but
I know it is kind of missing. the pumpkin pie spice. This would be a great fall recipe. It really would. I mean, it kind of tastes like pumpkin breads and stuff.
Yeah, it tastes like pumpkin bread, but with lemon in it. I think that maybe in the spring we make lemon blueberry or something that is spring forward.
I wanted to do carrots. I think it tastes great. The bread tastes good.
Yeah, it does taste good.
I think it would be better with the pumpkin pie spice. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed all of the carrot recipes that we did. I highly suggest the bread. The pancakes were really good. The carrot mug cake was pretty legit also. That one was pretty good. So really just skip the pumpkin energy balls and then make this in the fall. Everything else was great. So we will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.